Okay, what's up, her? I am new to this whole going live experience, but yeah, I'm going to figure it out. And yeah, I just, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna wing it. I've been getting called to do this for a minute, so it's no time like the present. What you guys can see in the background is Spirit Week. Spirit Week in the Bay Area at a private location, January 13th through January 15th. And there's going to be three events. Three events is going to be on Tuesday. The first day is going to be a crypto investing in AI breathing workshop. So we're going to be integrating economics, finances about the blockchain, as well as the technology, being able to utilize these AI platforms to really get some stuff done. But then also go into information about investing in silver. Love silver. Gotta have some silver, especially right now because it's booming. Gold, and these are real tangible bullions, metals, as well as silver stocks, as well as um, let's see, uranium, land, and a couple other things. So that's going to be Tuesday. Wednesday, we're going to be doing meditation, and mediation. This is a cannabis friendly event. And man, yeah, come on. We're going to take a puff. Then we're going to have a conversation after we do some meditation, and we're going to get things off our chest. Whether we're talking about, goals, or, our mission or our purpose, or we talking about traumas and past experiences dealing with shadow work, or we just talking about, man, whatever, it could be even whatever got us into smoking. Whatever it is, we're gonna be chopping it up about that. Ooh, hang on, let me get comfortable, y'all. Skis. Gotta take them down, man. Okay, yeah, that's a little better. All right, all right. So, yeah, that is that. And then Thursday we have the business and networking event. So yeah, that's gonna be coming up in man, next week. No, yeah. Time is flying, man. It's already Monday, January the 5th. Yeah. So we cooking. Now all of this is a pre warm up for us to get to Super Bowl. Super Bowl, we having the cosmic reset out here, man. It's gonna be something popping. Me and New Diamonds and so many other powerful guests. Man, it's I'm honored to be a part of it. So yeah, y'all check it out. I'm gonna be posting up about that too. That's the February 7th, Saturday in the Bay Area. All right, so let's get into it. We got one we're gonna be doing from Dane Callowy. He's talking about the situation and the circumstances that is happening with Trump and Maduro and Venezuela. But he gives a very unique perspective that I think is very interesting, considering the times that we are in, and considering how the system is falling apart and we swapping it out for a new system. So I'm about to play that, and we're gonna talk about it after. But yeah, I just wanted to get y'all the woompty wham. Okay, hopefully y'all can see me. I only got it to right here, and we're gonna put it on fast. Hang on. We're not gonna play it on the normal. Y'all know how I do. I like to play it fast, so just pay attention. Listen up. We'll talk about it after. Oh wait, did it do? Oh, hang on, damn it! I gotta go to the share screen. Okay, skirt. I'll switch it. Is that correct? No, that is correct. Is this correct? I'm hoping this is correct, y'all. Like seriously. Ah, ah, full screen layout. Is that it? Okay. I'm hoping this is it. I am not really full or really like used to this StreamYard stuff. So All right, let's see. Hopefully this is it. But what I am gonna do is make this full screen. Okay, and let's get into it.
Everything in this country, all the natural resources. Even before a message to you in English recently offering mediation. What should we do?
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to f*** around with the United States. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Let's start here. If you were to ask some people, historians, lawyers, diplomats, what is not supposed to happen in the modern world, one answer would come up again and again. A sitting president being captured by another country. Not sanctioned, not condemned, not isolated, captured. That word alone breaks expectations because it challenges the idea that the global system still runs on rules instead of power. And yet, here we are. So before we talk about whether this was justified, before we talk about legality, before we talk about morality, we have to answer a simpler, more dangerous question. How did the world arrive at a point where this was even possible? For most of the 20th century, the relationship between the United States and Venezuela was not dramatic. It was not ideological. It was not emotional. It was not confrontational. It was transactional. Venezuela possessed enormous oil reserves. The United States needed energy stability. That relationship produced predictability. The U.S. did not aggressively interfere in Venezuela's internal politics. Venezuela remained economically integrated into the Western system. There were disagreements, but not hostility. And that matters because it tells us something very important. This conflict was not inevitable. Everything changed in 1999. That was the year when Hugo Chavez became president of Venezuela. Chavez did not quietly assume power. He did not reassure Western institutions. He did not maintain diplomatic ambiguity. He openly rejected U.S. influence. He framed Venezuela as a nation that has been exploited. He positioned sovereignty as resistance. He described American power as imperialism. This was not just a speech. This was policy. Oil policy was restructured. Military cooperation with the United States declined. Foreign alliances shifted away from Washington. From the U.S. perspective, Chavez was destabilizing. From Venezuela's perspective, Chavez was reclaiming control. Both sides believed they were reacting defensively. That misunderstanding would never be resolved. In April 2002, Hugo Chavez was briefly removed from power during a coup attempt. Within days, he returned. The Venezuelan government accused the United States of supporting the coup. The United States denied direct involvement. But the long-term effect had nothing to do with proof. It had nothing to do with belief. From that movement forward, Venezuela's leadership operated under one assumption. The United States was willing to remove him. Once that belief takes hold, trust does not recover. Every protest becomes suspicious. Every criticism feels coordinated. Every sanction feels preparatory. This is how paranoia becomes policy. From 2002 onward, the relationship hardened. Venezuela moved closer to non-U.S. allies. The United States became increasingly critical of Venezuela's governance. When Hugo Chavez died in 2013, Nicolas Maduro inherited not just power, but unresolved conflict. The economy was already fragile. Political polarization was already extreme. International trust was already broken. Maduro did not create this environment, but he governed inside of it. Under Maduro, protests intensified. The government responded with force. The United States accused Venezuela of human rights abuses. Venezuela accused the United States of economic sabotage. Two narratives formed. In one narrative, Maduro was an authoritarian clinging to power. In the other, Maduro was resisting foreign destabilization. These narratives did not compete. They hardened separately. And then the United States formalized pressure. This is where it gets deeper. In 2015, the United States issued an executive order declaring Venezuela a national security concern. This was not symbolic. It created legal authority for sanctions. Sanctions that restricted banking access, froze assets, and pressured internet.
Okay, I'm not going to pause on too much stuff, but let's really highlight this part right here. Like, really focus on this. Obama declared Venezuela a national security threat. Okay, let's
partners and reduced economic oxygen. From the United States perspective, this was accountability. From Venezuela's perspective, this was economic warfare. Regardless of interpretation, the result was clear. Economic suffering deepened, political positions hardened, and diplomatic solutions narrowed. January 2019 marked a decisive shift. The United States declared that Juan Guaido, not Nicolas Maduro, was the legitimate president of Venezuela. This was not rhetoric. This was legal repositioning. From that moment, Maduro was no longer recognized as the head of state by the U.S. His authority was rejected and his protections were weakened. This decision matters more than any sanction because legitimacy is the foundation of sovereignty. Once legitimacy is removed, everything else becomes negotiable. In March 2020, the U.S. Department of Justice unsealed indictments. They accused Nicolas Maduro and others of narco-terrorism, drug trafficking, weapons offenses, and coordination with armed groups. This was unprecedented. A sitting president was no longer just isolated. He was criminally charged. The United States placed a monetary reward on information leading to his arrest. That reward eventually reached $50 million. From this point forward, the U.S. position was clear. Maduro was not a leader. He was a fugitive. This is where the critics enter the record. Legal scholars argue that the heads of state possesses sovereign immunity, and indictments do not override sovereignty, and military captive violates international norms. And also, no United Nations authorization was granted, and no declaration of war was issued. Their concern was not the defense of Maduro. Their concern was precedent. If one nation concedes another nation's leader under criminal framing, the global system changes. This is a warning. The United States rejected that framing. Its position was simple. They said, we do not recognize Maduro as president, sovereign immunity does not apply, criminal conspiracies are prosecutable, and that this was a law enforcement operation. In other words, you cannot claim protection from a title we do not acknowledge. This logic reframes the act entirely. Now, whether the world accepts that logic is still unresolved. On January 3rd, 2026, U.S. forces captured Nicolas Maduro and transferred him to U.S. custody. There was no ambiguity. This was not symbolic. This was not rhetoric. This was execution of a long-standing position. To many, it felt sudden, but it was not. It felt sudden because the public saw the endpoint without the pathway. Years of sanctions, delegitimization, indictments, rewards, and diplomatic breakdown were compressed into a single headline. History rarely announces itself clearly. It accumulates quietly. This moment forces an uncomfortable question. Where does law end and power begin?
I think we have to really ask ourselves what is truly the motivation behind why the U.S. is invading Venezuela, because frankly that has been muddled.
Raquel Aldana, an expert in immigration law, says the strikes come after months of building tension in the region, with President Trump promoting the ouster as a way to stem the flow of drugs into the U.S.
It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice,
while also giving the U.S. a greater stake in the country and control of its oil.
We're going to take back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
Either of those two examples, even if we take them at face value, are not valid reasons to invade a country.
This story topping international headlines tonight, from Cuba to Miami to here in Atlanta, even the nation's capital. Demonstrators are rallying across the Americas in response to this attack. Some are celebrating the capture of President Maduro, while others are protesting, chanting "No war on Venezuela."
This is a government making a decision that could plunge an entire region into war without any sort of approval from Congress. There's no representation occurring on our government right now.
So what I want to see happen is the end of the sanctions regime against Venezuela. No more bombing campaigns. The president needs to be returned immediately because, again, it's sick and sadistic to steal the president of another country.
Mayor Karen Bass saying in a statement, quote, "The administration's reckless decision to strike Venezuela to remove Nicolas Maduro risks chaos, violence, and entrenching the United States in a conflict the American people did not ask for. Los Angeles will continue to stand for peace, democracy, and diplomacy."
My main worry is that we're going to be sucked into another prolonged 20-year war with no real end in sight.
We saw it in Iraq in 2003 with a takeover of a country that was no threat to us in the name of a resource, namely oil.
I want to show you all the people protesting here in the middle of the street on West Colfax Avenue. This group started out outside the Capitol. Now they're kind of moving down the street. You can see some of their signs saying "No war on Venezuela."
Many of these people protesting say the U.S. capture of Nicolas Maduro will lead to escalation in the region.
And while Maduro really is not a good guy, he's a terrible dictator, I don't think that Trump is going to help their people. I don't think that's his intention.
And reactions from Venezuelans are mixed. Some celebrating in the streets in places like Miami.
I can't tell you how happy I am. There are tears in my eyes. We've been waiting for this moment since 1998.
While others, like Omelis Machan, a Venezuelan living in Denver, say celebrating this moment is ignorance. She came to the U.S. with her family in 2023 to escape crime in Venezuela.
They're celebrating what exactly? The fall of people in Venezuela, the deaths that have happened?
Her father, uncles, and her husband live in Caracas. She says her family is living in a state of fear, not sure what will happen tomorrow, and not sure what President Trump is planning for Venezuelans.
There's a lot of people who are saying, yes, we need someone to intervene, but they don't know what an intervention is. They don't understand that what they're seeing in the poverty right now in Venezuela is only going to lead to more poverty after this and more need in the country.
Some would say justice was served. Some would say sovereignty was violated. Some would say order was enforced. Some would say chaos was invited. All of those views exist because history allows them to. But this event does not end with custody. It continues in international courts, diplomatic realignment, economic consequence, and global precedent. Other nations are watching, not because they support Maduro, but because they're measuring risk. History would not judge this moment emotionally. It would judge it by what precedent was set, what power was normalized, what protections were weakened, and what comes next. So this is not a conclusion. This is a checkpoint. And now you understand how we got here. I'm Dane Callowy, and I'm just here to make you think.
Okay. So. Boop. Do it go back to me now? Okay, I'm thinking it's back to me. Is it back to me? Here we are. I'm back. Okay, so yeah. What y'all think about that? Drop y'all comments. I'm very curious. Now, the reason why I'm curious on it is because it's not for the geopolitical reasons that a lot of people are, maybe into it. I'm looking at it more from an energetic and spiritual reason, more metaphysically. Don't mind me, this my cat Smokey just jumping up. But the reason why I'm looking at it, from that kind of situation is because it's a big shift happening right now. The shift is major right now. Like we in California right now, man, in the Bay, and it's super storming. The shift has been shifting since for a long ass time, but we went into overdrive, winter solstice. So a couple of weeks ago, we went to winter solstice. It's been going up every layer and layer each day, it is the 5th right now. And I feel like we went through another portal last night. And then prior to that, we went through another one, on the 111 portal. You get what I mean? It's like you're driving a stick shift car, and this stick shift car has a lot of gears, but everyone can feel the intensity. Another reason why this situation is relevant is because of the cryptocurrency. It was said, and if you shout out to Paul Blair Network, he has something right now today where they was talking about Venezuela's cryptocurrency is being seized as well. So it's a lot of things that's going on, but it's a narrative, and you got to pay attention to the narrative, pay attention to the trends. So yeah, shout out to that video from Dane, Callowy, and man, I love to get y'all opinion on this. Tell me what y'all think, man. Like, for real, this is my first live stream on here, but I'm digging the setup, so I think I'm gonna be doing this a lot more. Spirit Week, man, it's next week. Come tap in, and Super Bowl Sunday, February, Super Bowl weekend, February 7th. We got the Cosmic Reset. Yeah, get out here. All right, man. Peace. Love y'all. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Deuces.